Okay, Mom. So, can you talk a little bit about? Because I know you've been working pretty much all your life since you were a little girl, whether it was in the fields or you want to talk about maybe we'll talk about San Jose and how you ended up in San Jose.
It was after I got married to your dad.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, like I always, growing up, I always wanted to get away from Porterville because I saw myself, like, I always thought that Porterville is such a small town.
Yeah.
And there was really no work
Mm-hmm.
in Porterville. There was
Except for the fields, right?
There was either the fields or the packing houses. And that was about it. And there wasn't a whole lot of packing houses, maybe a couple. So I saw myself like working in the fields forever if I didn't move away. And I used to always tell my dad, and of course he thought I was crazy. I used to tell him, as soon as I'm old enough, I'm gonna move away. I'm gonna go away somewhere else because I hate working in the fields. And I'm not gonna work in the fields for the rest of my life. And I used to tell him that I was gonna get married to a white guy.
What? What do you mean?
I used to always tell him that. I used to tell him, me voy a casar con un gringo because they don't work in the fields.
Hmm.
And I don't have to cook because all they eat is sandwiches, bologna sandwiches, and
Hamburguesas.
and that's gonna be easy for me, and that's what I'm gonna do. And he would say, "Estás loca, estás loca." But so, I mean, I used to always kind of say that. Maybe I playing around or whatever, but it just kind of worked out that way for me because your dad actually lived over there in Sunnyvale, California. I met your dad through a friend
Okay.
here in Porterville.
All right.
And then and your dad was just here for the weekend when I met him.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that we were just talking, and he would come here like every so often. And then we got married, and then that's when I ended up moving to Sunnyvale, California. Then from there we went to San Jose, and I started working over there.
What year was this?
1980.
Okay.
And so we moved over there, and I never moved back to Porterville. I just stayed over there. So it kind of worked out.
And you started working there?
I started working at a factory, an electronics factory. It was a small factory. It was called EIP.
Mm-hmm.
No, it was called PC Craft.
Oh, okay.
That was my first job over there.
What'd you do there?
Just like assembly work, electronics assembly work. And then from there, I looked for another job, and that's when I started working for EIP Microwave,
You were there for a long time, huh?
which was another electronics company. And at
Right.
the time, when I first started there, it was, like it was hard because I didn't speak English.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got to remember, even though I had been here as a very young kid, because having to work in the fields all the time and staying at home, and my dad was very strict. We never really got to get out much or have friends or anything, so it was mostly like working and staying in the house. So I never really had an opportunity to learn English. So then when it was not until I had moved away after I got married that I actually started learning English, and it was just a little bit because working at that when I transferred to that, when I got that job at that second company, there was nobody that spoke Spanish there. Nobody. It was Filipinos, Japanese, you name it, but there was nobody that spoke Spanish there. So the little bit of English that I knew, it's like I was so embarrassed. I always felt like I was gonna pronounce it wrong, and I was shy. So my supervisor, I used to ask her for the biggest assignments that she could give me, because sometimes we'd be working on an assignment that lasted like a whole week, and you're pretty much were on your own. You knew what to do, and nobody would bother you, and you wouldn't. So I didn't have, and I would come and I would speak very softly on her ear, and I would say, Sumi, her name was Sumi. Sumi, I need another job. Until she started telling me, you know what, I can't hear you. You got to speak loud. I can't hear you. You speak very well English. Speak up, otherwise you're never going to learn. And so she kind of put me in a situation where I had to speak up loud.
Mm.
and then just started practicing more, a little bit more. And then this girl came in and she started working, and she was kind of like me. She didn't speak English. So then we started talking Spanish. So then the supervisor said, I don't want you guys to speak Spanish. Not because she was racist,
Right.
because she actually liked me a lot. She said, no, you are very smart. You guys are smart, and I know you guys can do better. And the only way that you guys are going to learn is if you practice. So I told her name was Santos, and I told her, okay, Santos, no more Spanish. So I just started practicing and practicing and practicing.
Yeah.
Which later on in life, I kind of regretted some part of it, because I think that in my mind, I was thinking like, I'm still learning, I'm still practicing. But when you were born,
Yeah.
your first language was Spanish.
Uh-huh.
But then after I put you in the daycare, you had been there only for a little bit, not even a month, and you picked up the English language really quick. And then I would try to talk to you in Spanish, and you'd be like all lost, like you didn't understand me, and I was kind of like frustrated. And then I thought, oh well, you know what? Me and your dad, we thought it was just a great idea. Okay, well, let's talk to him in English. This way, we'll learn, we'll practice it, and we'll get better at it. So that's what we did, and that's why now you guys don't speak very good English.
Spanish.
I mean Spanish. So I kind of regret that part. I wish I would have spoke more Spanish to you guys.
So one thing that you always tell me is that you've been working hard all your life, and you really take pride in that. You want to talk about that?
Well, yeah, because I mean, honestly, I never even, I've always worked ever since I was a kid. That, I mean, I never even knew that food stamps and welfare and all that stuff even existed. I guess, I don't know, if I had known, maybe I would have applied for it, I don't know, and spend more time with you guys or whatever. But I never even knew that stuff existed.
Yeah.
But because I've always worked, and that's why, now that I know that all that stuff exists, I think it's good for some people. But I also think that there's a lot of people out there that really, really take advantage of it. I think that welfare and food stamps and free medical insurance should be out there for those that really need it, that for some reason they can't work, or they have, whatever issues they're going through. But I don't think it should be for everybody, because if I was able to survive on just working and raising you guys, especially after getting divorced and being by myself with you guys and just working and paying, I mean, I was able to pay my bills and work, and I never applied for welfare, food stamps. I never had any of that stuff. I never even tried to even get any of that stuff.
So can you tell me about when you used to work as a little girl in the fields, about the pesticides and stuff like that?
Well, we always cover ourselves because there was a lot of dirt, and there was pesticides on the trees and all that stuff. So you kind of have to protect yourself. Like, you pretty much, cover your face. Pretty much, we used to wear paños. How now people have people wearing them like masks.
Yeah.
But we used to wear them for the dust, because there was so much dust and pesticides on the trees, and to protect ourselves. Because sometimes working in the fields, oh my God, by the time, 2-3 hours later, you would have to go and kind of wash your face because you couldn't even breathe. You andabas tapado de polvo and all that stuff. And your clothes would start smelling like pesticides and everything, because that stuff is on the trees. It's all over the trees. But I don't remember them spraying during...
While working.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it was just of course it was just harmful because there was pesticides on the plants, and you had to wear, not plants, the crops or whatever. And then you used to pretty much wear a lot of clothing, a lot of over clothing, huh?
Yeah.
What they would call layering nowadays, right?
Yeah. 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 That's exactly what.
And you wear paños on your face and
on the head, and then You know, we used to wrap like our hair in a paño and make it like really tight, and then another one like right here, like a mask. And then on top of that, we used to wear a hat. And we always had like long sleeves. And then on top of your clothes, there was like these sleeves that we used to put over, but those were like specially made for like when you were working in the field. They were like made of a really tough material, like they used to call them lona, like really tough material. And they're just these sleeves that you would put up, that would go up to here and all the way down.
And you used to do this from what, like 10 years old to maybe what, 20 years old?
Till I got married.
Till you got married.
Yeah. At first, it was only like the weekends, and then summers, like all summer, all weekends and summers, and then went from 13 all the way up until I left. 20. Till I was 20.
At what point did you stop going to school, like completely?
13.
13 years old. Okay.
Por eso estoy bien mensa.
Don't say that, Ma. Don't say that, Ma. You're very smart, very hardworking. What else? That if you're not a hard worker, then pues estás mensa. But you're a hard worker, right, Ma?
I'm a hard worker.
That's right.
I've always been.
You're still working, right?
I'm still working.
That's right.
And I plan to continue to work until I can't work no more.
That's right.